Hello? I was told to meet somebody here. Is there anyone here? The door was open. Something isn't right here. I feel cold, but the temperature's over 70. I feel like I'm not alone, but this place seems empty. Who called me and why? Something to do with my case. But it may be a trap. Think, Mario, think. Hello? This is Mario Cozzi. You called me to meet you. Something to do with my case. You told me to come alone. Okay. Something is definitely not right. I need to investigate and get out of here quick. A journal with what police say was insane scribblings of gibberish found at the scene. One of the entries just said the end is nigh. Another said he is in my dreams. If I cannot stay awake, I won't wake up next time. He's coming for you too. But the spookiest entry of all said, if you're still reading this, you must beware the mansion. The cultists are waiting. No one knows what this means. These ramblings sound familiar. Wait a minute. Of course. They're similar to the reports of what the agents were saying in the asylum. And these entries seem to fit together. He's coming for you, and beware the mansion. This is strange. I should get out of here. Come back in the morning. Mario, we know you're in here. This is Paul from the asylum. We have something to show you. It is going to blow your mind. We want to help your case. Tell you the truth. Show you how it is all going to end.
Welcome to the quest for the Green Bull, the rise of Ralu Azath. And can you believe that the first half of the regular season is over already in our league and in many fantasy leagues? Seems like yesterday that we were all getting ready for the draft, and now each of us in our league has played 7 other teams with 4 more weeks of out of division play left before we head back into our divisions. Division races are definitely still ongoing with just a game or two of cushion for those of us in first place. The wild cards are still up for grabs as well, with 1 game separating the 4th through 9th place teams. Oh, and the defending champs are also in a lot of trouble with just 2 wins. Pretty crazy. All of these matchups will come back into play once the tiebreakers are sorted out, with the league expected to remain very close until the end. And of course, in our Game of the Week, we actually had a team in last place in the Europa Division, and Uncle Justy traveled to the secret Sea of Galantis to take on a team atop the Ganymede Division, the Multiple Scoregasms. And the results was a little surprising. Home teams are now 4-3 overall in the Game of the Week, as Uncle Justy was able to snap the home side's 4-game winning streak in a game with some strange numbers in this rivalry matchup. Despite getting less than 5 points by 3 players, Uncle Justy was able to come away with a 95.6 to 82.34 win to hold on to the paddle. But while the win does keep Uncle Justy in the conversation for the playoffs, it came at a cost, as rising rookie Breece Hall tore his ACL and is now out for the season after a 72-yard performance, which included a 50-plus yard touchdown. Jamar Chase was once again a star with 130 yards and 2 scores, and the Dolphins' defense finished with 2 sacks and 3 interceptions. Kamara added 105 yards as well. The Scoregasms did get 117 yards from Dameon Pierce, 106 yards from Olave, and 113 yards, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion by Eno Benjamin. Having Josh Allen on a bye clearly hurt, though, and Derek Carr disappointing with just 1 touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown also left the game early with a concussion and scored under a point, and the 49ers defense was decimated by the Chiefs. Uncle Justy is now 3-4 overall, while the Scoregasms take the first home loss of the year and fall to 5-2. In another match, the Siamese Dreamcats hosted the Clash at Demon Head at the Ship Graveyards at Beatrix Lane in an EO versus Europa showdown. Injuries and byes kept this one low scoring, as the Siamese Dreamcats pulled off the 85.2 to 75.22 win. The Dreamcats were led by Ezekiel Elliott, who had 57 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Pollard added 109 yards. Smith-Schuster went out for 124 yards and a score in one of his best games, and Christian Kirk finished with 101 yards. The Colts defense added 2 sacks and a fumble recovery. Lamar Jackson struggled again, a common thing lately, and bye-week replacements did not do well, but on the other side, the trade of Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers actually limited him this past week in his 49ers debut. Garoppolo did have 2 touchdowns, and Etienne added 119 yards and his first touchdown of his career. Tucker hit a 50-yard field goal to reach double digits as well. In the end, the Clash at Demon Head took a tough loss to fall to 2-5, but the running back core looks to be one of the best in the league now once healthy. The Siamese Dreamcats moved to 3-4 overall. Green Acres traveled to the Temple of SeaTac to take on the Stellar Bitches in an EO versus Ganymede matchup. And Green Acres easily won this matchup in a big-time blowout, 115.26 to 70.58, as the Stellar Bitches fell to 0-4 at home, and now probably need to win out or go 6-1 in the second half of the season to make the playoffs. Joe Burrow once again showed off Joe Burrow-type things with a monster game. He had 481 passing yards, 20 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns with a bonus point for a 50-plus yard score. Foreman also did well with 145 total yards in a surprising performance against a usually stout Bucs defense. And Hill caught a touchdown. The tight end, Taysom Hill. Higgins and Harris combined for 173 yards. And kicker Myers and the Jets defense combined for 26 points. A very solid all-around performance. The Stellar Bitches had 138 yards by Derrick Henry and 73 yards and a touchdown by scary Terry McLaurin. Evans added 96 yards. But there just isn't enough scoring on this team right now. Green Acres moves to 4-3. The Stellar Bitches fall to 1-6. Next, AR's Ayahuasca Plant hosted Loki Lebowski Thor at the Peaks of Dracos. In Ganymede versus Europa game, Loki Lebowski Thor had a chance at getting into a tie for first place in Europa, but AR's ayahuasca plan had other ideas and was able to earn the 97.06 to 78.82 win to get back to within 2 games in the Ganymede division. Ron Jones finished with 76 yards and 2 scores, and Kittle collected 98 yards and a touchdown. Montgomery also scored, and Adams added 95 yards. One of the keys actually ended up being a kicker in defense, with Carlson and the Packers outscoring Maher and the Bucks 19-6. Lebowski-Thor did get 155 yards and a score by Boyd. Herbert added 2 touchdowns, and Edwards-Helaire also found the end zone. But in the end, surprising low scores from the Bucks defense and Deebo Samuel hurt in a big way. Lebowski-Thor is now 4-3, while AR's ayahuasca plant moves to 3-4, 3-2 at home. Remember, the Titans hosted risky business at the Polar Caps of Athanasu, the Ganymede versus EO match. The tripod was on the line in this rivalry game, and it was risky business who held onto it again with a 102.62 to 64.2 beatdown. Mahomes was huge for risky business with 423 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mixon added 91 yards and a score, and the rookie Kenneth Walker continued to be one of the stories of the year with 168 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 50-plus yard score. The defending champs had a rough week with 135 yards by Barkley and 98 yards and a score by Stevenson being the best highlights. Geno Smith did throw for 2 touchdowns, but the first half of the season was not kind for Remember the Titans, which fall to 2-5 overall, 2 games back of the final wildcard spot. Risky Business, on the other hand, continues to climb the standings, moving to 4-3 in an EO division that boasts the best overall record of any division. Finally, the top-ranked Elite Mother Tuckers hosted my formerly second-ranked Dark Ridge Dreamers at the volcanic plateaus of Vulcan in an EO versus Europa matchup. And just as my voice suggests, the Elite Mother Tuckers showed off just how good this team is right now, with 3 players combining for 83.2 points in a 138.12 to 99.46 win. Josh Jacobs is proving to be one of the craziest comeback stories in a long time as a very solid fantasy season continued. 155 yards and 3 touchdowns is getting it done there. Eckler added 127 yards and 2 scores, and the Cowboys' defense remained one of the best with 5 sacks and 5 forced turnovers. Mostert also added a touchdown. The Dreamers didn't have a horrible week with some points left on the bench and Justin Jefferson on a bye, but injuries did make it a little worse. Chubb was solid with 97 yards and a score, and Kyler Murray finally had an okay game with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Mike Williams had 86 yards and a score, but was injured and may miss time after his bye week. Njoku had 71 yards, but was also injured and is now out 2 to 5 weeks. The Ravens' defense and Gano did combine for 24 points and a solid performance at the bottom of the lineup. Of course, there are still 7 weeks to go. Even the best teams still have work to do. And while a few teams will be in desperation mode soon, I mean, there's already a trade that just happened that we'll go over next episode. And most of the league is still very much alive and are just a few wins away from getting right back into the conversation to win a title. Welcome to the second half of the season, everyone. It's going to be a wild one! And that's the content for the show. Join me tomorrow as we preview another week of important matchups across this league and take a trip to our next Game of the Week destination. Until next time, salut. Check out the new power rankings